I caught my boyfriend cheating with his ex after she posted their date on Instagram. He crashed my brother's wedding, tried to kiss me, and had to be escorted out. I, 25F, never thought I would be writing something like this. 4 days ago, everything in my life seemed normal. Now I find myself sitting alone in my apartment trying to make sense of what happened. I met Ryan, 28M, about 5 months ago at a friend's housewarming party. We hit it off right away. He was thoughtful, funny, and seemed genuinely interested in my life. After our third date, we made things official. The past 5 months have been wonderful. At least that's what I thought. When we first started dating, Ryan told me about his ex-girlfriend, Vanessa. They had dated for almost 3 years, breaking up about a year before we met. Their relationship ended when he found out she had cheated on him with a coworker. Ryan explained that they still shared the same friend group, so they maintained a cordial relationship, but he assured me they never hung out alone. He said it was a boundary he set for himself after the breakup. This made sense to me. I'm still friends with one of my exes too, but we only see each other in group settings. I respected Ryan's boundary and appreciated his honesty. I believed him when he said he was over Vanessa. The way he described how her cheating affected him made me confident he would never put anyone else through that pain. I met Ryan's friends, including Vanessa, about 2 months into our relationship. Everyone was welcoming, and Vanessa seemed nice enough. She was polite but kept her distance. I didn't sense any tension or lingering feelings between them, which put me at ease. Last week, Ryan and I made plans to meet up on Wednesday night after work. We had both been busy with our jobs, and I was looking forward to spending time together. We planned to order takeout and watch a movie at my place around 8 p.m. We confirmed these plans several times throughout the week. Wednesday came, and I finished work at my usual time of 5:30 p.m. I texted Ryan to let him know I was heading home and asked if he wanted me to pick up anything on the way. No response. I figured he was busy at work, so I didn't think much of it. By 7 p.m., I still hadn't heard from him. I called his phone, but it went straight to voicemail. I sent another text asking if we were still on for tonight. Again, no response. This wasn't like Ryan at all. He usually replied to my messages within minutes. By 8:30 p.m., Ryan was officially late, and I was getting worried. I tried calling him again with the same result, straight to voicemail. His phone must have been off or dead. I started to wonder if something had happened to him. Was he in an accident? Did he have a family emergency? At 9:15 p.m., I decided to grab dinner by myself. I hadn't eaten yet because I was waiting for Ryan. I walked to my favorite pho restaurant a few blocks away. In my rush to leave, I accidentally left my phone at home. When I returned an hour later, there were still no messages from Ryan. I asked my roommate, Alicia, if Ryan had stopped by while I was out. She said no, she hadn't seen or heard from him all day. A knot formed in my stomach. Ryan had never stood me up before. It wasn't like him to disappear without explanation. I was genuinely worried something bad had happened, but there was also a small voice in my head suggesting something else might be going on. Without really knowing why, I opened Instagram and started scrolling through my feed. That's when I saw it, a post from Vanessa from earlier that day. I follow her, and she follows me, so her posts usually appear in my feed. The photo showed a fancy-looking dessert at Taverna, Ryan's favorite restaurant. The caption read, "Dinner and movie night with at Ryan's, just like old times." In the background of the photo, slightly blurred but unmistakable, was Ryan. He was sitting across the table from her, elbows on the table, smiling. The timestamp showed the photo was posted at 5:45 p.m., more than 2 hours before Ryan was supposed to meet me at my place. My hands started shaking. The Ryan in that photo didn't look like someone with a dead phone who had forgotten about plans with his girlfriend. He looked relaxed and happy, having dinner with his ex-girlfriend, the same ex he claimed he never spent time alone with. Even more telling was a comment from one of our mutual friends, Marcus, who had simply written, under the photo. Vanessa hadn't responded to the comment. I put my phone down and tried to process what I was seeing. Ryan had blown me off to spend time with Vanessa. He deliberately turned his phone off so I couldn't reach him. He broke his own boundary about not seeing her alone. And he lied to me by omission. I considered the possibility that he had truly forgotten our plans from a week ago, but that didn't explain why his phone was off or why he hadn't contacted me at all. I went to bed feeling physically ill, a mixture of worry and betrayal swirling in my stomach. The next morning, I woke up to 5 text messages from Ryan, all sent around 6 a.m. "Hey babe, I am so sorry about last night. I completely forgot we had plans. I was watching Better Call Saul with Vanessa and fell asleep on her couch. My phone died and I didn't realize until I woke up this morning. I feel like such an idiot. Can you forgive me? Let me make it up to you. Sushi tonight? Just you and I. I love you." His explanation rang hollow. First, he never hangs out alone with Vanessa. That was his rule, not mine. Second, Ryan doesn't fall asleep early, especially on his day off. Third, if his phone died while he was at Vanessa's place, why couldn't he charge it there? I texted back with a simple question. Did anything happen between you and Vanessa last night? His response came quickly. No, of course not. I would never do that to you. Despite his denial, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. His actions contradicted everything he had told me about his relationship with Vanessa. I needed to talk to him face to face to understand what was really going on. I told him I wanted to meet after I finished work. He agreed and suggested a coffee shop near my office. I spent the entire workday distracted, replaying everything in my head and trying to prepare myself for whatever truth was waiting for me. When I arrived at the coffee shop, Ryan was already there. He looked terrible, dark circles under his eyes, hair uncombed. He tried to smile when he saw me, but it didn't reach his eyes. I sat down across from him and asked him to tell me exactly what happened the night before. He repeated the story from his texts. He and Vanessa were watching Better Call Saul. He fell asleep. His phone died. I showed him the Instagram post and asked why he was having dinner with her when he told me they never spent time alone together. He stuttered, claimed it was a coincidence. They ran into each other at the restaurant. I pointed out the caption mentioned a planned movie night. He backtracked, said it was a last-minute thing, they're just friends. When I asked about the comment from Marcus, Ryan's face fell. He knew he'd been caught. For the next hour, I pulled the truth out of him bit by bit. Yes, he had deliberately made plans with Vanessa knowing he was supposed to meet me later. Yes, he had turned his phone off on purpose so I couldn't reach him. And yes, something did happen between them. Ryan confessed that he and Vanessa had slept together. He swore it wasn't planned, that he genuinely forgot about our plans, that it was a mistake. He started crying right there in the coffee shop, saying he loved me and begging me to forgive him. I stood up without a word, gathered my things, and walked out. Ryan followed me to the door, still pleading, but I didn't look back. As soon as I got home, I blocked his number and removed him from all my social media accounts. The last few days have been a blur. I've never been cheated on before, at least not that I know of, and the betrayal cuts deep. Right now, I feel numb, but I know the full impact will hit me eventually. My brother is getting married this Saturday, and I'm supposed to be there with a smile on my face. I don't know how I'm going to manage that. The irony is that if Vanessa hadn't posted that photo, I might never have known the truth. Ryan's excuse about falling asleep might have worked. But Vanessa put it right out there on social media, knowing I would see it. Last night, I stayed home alone, watching Netflix and eating ice cream straight from the container. Under normal circumstances, I would have called Ryan to come over and keep me company. Now, the thought of seeing him makes my stomach turn. I keep thinking about how blindly I trusted him. How I waited for him for an hour and a half, worried that something had happened to him, while he was with her the whole time. The disrespect is staggering. I know I made the right decision to end things immediately. 5 months is nothing compared to the lifetime of doubt I would have faced if I had given him another chance. Still, it hurts. Now I'm just trying to figure out how to move forward. How to trust anyone again. How to not let this experience make me bitter or suspicious in future relationships. But those are problems for another day. Right now, I'm just taking it 1 hour at a time. Update 1: It's been 2 weeks since I discovered Ryan's betrayal and ended our relationship. I wish I could say things have improved, but the situation has only gotten more complicated and concerning. The day after my last post, I went to work and tried to focus on anything but Ryan. My coworkers noticed something was wrong, but I kept the details vague. I wasn't ready to talk about it yet. That evening, I met my friend Megan for dinner. She's part of Ryan's friend group, but we've grown close over the past few months. I told her what happened, and she was furious on my behalf. She revealed that Ryan and Vanessa had a pattern of getting back together briefly after breakups. According to Megan, many people in their friend group suspected something might happen when Ryan and I hit the 5-month mark. Apparently that's when he usually gets cold feet in relationships. I went to my brother's wedding that Saturday as planned. The ceremony was beautiful, and for a few hours, I managed to forget about my own problems while celebrating his happiness. I was a bridesmaid, so most of my day was spent helping the bride and keeping everything running smoothly. During the reception, I stepped away to use the restroom in a quiet hallway away from the main party. As I was walking back, I froze. Standing at the end of the hallway was Ryan, dressed in a full suit. He hadn't been invited to the wedding. My brother had met him only once and barely knew him. Yet there he was, looking perfectly put together, as if he belonged there. Before I could react, Ryan walked toward me. I asked him what he was doing there. He said he needed to talk to me, that he couldn't accept that things were over between us. I told him firmly that he needed to leave immediately or I would have security escort him out. He ignored me completely. Instead, he grabbed my arm so tightly it hurt and stared into my eyes with an intensity that made my skin crawl. The look on his face wasn't one of love or remorse, it was desperation and something else I couldn't identify. Ryan said he couldn't live without me, that the past 2 weeks had been unbearable. His grip tightened as he leaned in, apparently trying to kiss me. I turned my head away and told him he needed professional help. This wasn't love, this was obsession. Ryan's response was to break down completely. He began sobbing loudly in the hallway of my brother's wedding venue, still gripping my arms. I tried to pull away, but he only held tighter. Thankfully, one of the groomsmen, Devin, heard the commotion and came to investigate. Devin is an old friend of my brother's and recognized Ryan from a group photo I had shown him once. He assessed the situation quickly and calmly intervened. Devin gently but firmly removed Ryan's hands from my arms and positioned himself between us. He spoke to Ryan in a calm, understanding voice, telling him that this wasn't the way to handle things and that he needed to go home and clear his head. Ryan seemed to respond to Devin's authoritative but non-threatening approach. Devin called a cab for Ryan and waited with him outside until it arrived. When he returned, he checked if I was okay and suggested we not tell my brother until after the honeymoon to avoid casting a shadow over his special day. I agreed, grateful for his help and discretion. The next day, I called Ryan's sister, with whom I'd gotten along well during our relationship. I explained what happened and expressed concern about Ryan's mental state. She thanked me for letting her know and assured me she would check on him. For the next few days, things were quiet. I thought perhaps Ryan had gotten the message and would leave me alone. I was wrong. Last night, I received multiple calls from an unknown number. After the third call, I answered, thinking it might be important. It was Vanessa. She demanded to know if it was true that Ryan had crashed my brother's wedding. When I confirmed he had, she unleashed a stream of insults and accusations. According to her, Ryan told her they were officially back together the day after our breakup. He claimed that I had been the one to pursue him at the wedding, that I had tried to seduce him and convince him to leave Vanessa. I was stunned by how completely he had twisted the events. I calmly told Vanessa what really happened, that Ryan showed up uninvited, grabbed me, tried to kiss me, and had to be removed by my brother's friend. I suggested she should reconsider her relationship with someone who would lie so blatantly. Then I hung up and blocked the number. This morning, I received a text from Megan. She said the friend group was in chaos. Ryan was telling everyone I had been stalking him since the breakup and that I was spreading lies about him cheating. Vanessa was backing up his story. Several mutual friends were taking sides, and the group was fracturing. Megan sent me screenshots of group messages where Ryan portrayed himself as the victim, claiming I had made up the cheating story because I was jealous of his friendship with Vanessa. In these messages, he didn't mention crashing the wedding at all. I decided I needed to set the record straight, not to win back friends or clear my name, but because living with such blatant lies being spread about me was untenable. I wrote a calm, factual account of what happened and sent it to the 3 friends in the group I trusted most, including Megan. I included the Instagram post from Vanessa that started everything and a security camera screenshot from the wedding venue showing Ryan there uninvited. The response was mixed. Some apologized for believing Ryan's version without question. Others accused me of trying to stir up drama. A few remained neutral, saying it was between Ryan and me. What struck me most was how skilled Ryan was at manipulating the narrative. He had spent years building relationships with these people, crafting an image of himself as honest and trustworthy. In contrast, I was relatively new to the group. It was an uphill battle to counter his lies. I've decided to distance myself from the entire friend group except for Megan and one other person who has shown unwavering support. The drama and constant reminders of Ryan are not worth it. I've also started looking for a new apartment in a different neighborhood, just to be safe. Ryan knowing where I live no longer feels comfortable after the wedding incident. The most troubling development came this afternoon. Ryan's sister called me, sounding worried. She said Ryan has been behaving erratically, missing work, drinking heavily, and making concerning statements about fixing things with me. She asked if I would consider meeting with both of them to help him find closure. I declined as gently as I could, suggesting that professional help would be more appropriate than seeing me again. As I write this update, I feel like I'm living in some bizarre alternate reality. 5 weeks ago, I thought I was in a healthy, trusting relationship with a kind, honest man. Now I'm changing my phone number, moving apartments, and losing friends because of his lies and concerning behavior. Part of me wonders if there were warning signs I missed. Did I overlook red flags because I wanted the relationship to work? Was I naive to trust so completely? These questions keep me up at night. For now, I'm focusing on getting through each day. My brother returns from his honeymoon tomorrow, and I'll have to tell him what happened at his wedding. My parents have noticed something is wrong, and I can't keep avoiding their questions. Despite everything, I'm trying to maintain perspective. This relationship was only 5 months of my life. I refuse to let Ryan's actions define me or my future. But the path forward feels uncertain and daunting. Update 2. It's been about a month since my last update, and while things haven't completely settled down, there have been some significant developments. After telling my brother what happened at his wedding, he was understandably upset but mainly concerned for my safety. He and his new wife insisted I stay with them for a few days while I sorted out my housing situation. During that time, they helped me find a new apartment in a secured building across town. My brother even took a day off work to help me move my essentials, and we didn't tell anyone the address except for immediate family. The day after I moved, Ryan showed up at my old apartment. My former roommate Alicia texted to let me know. According to her, he brought flowers and a handwritten letter, claiming he just wanted to talk. When Alicia told him I had moved out, he didn't believe her at first and asked to check my room. She refused and threatened to call the police if he didn't leave immediately. He eventually left, but not before sliding the letter under the door when Alicia wasn't looking. Alicia sent me a photo of the letter, which was 6 pages long and filled with a mixture of apologies, declarations of love, accusations that I overreacted, and, most disturbingly, detailed descriptions of our intimate moments together. The letter bounced between taking full responsibility and subtly blaming me for not giving him a chance to explain. It ended with a promise that he would never give up on us. After reading the letter, I decided to file for a restraining order. The process was more complicated than I expected, but Ryan's behavior clearly showed a pattern of escalation. The wedding incident, showing up at my old apartment uninvited, and the concerning nature of the letter were enough for a temporary order to be granted. 2 weeks ago, there was a hearing to decide whether to make the restraining order permanent. Ryan appeared with a lawyer and contested it, claiming I was exaggerating the situation out of spite. Thankfully, I had documentation of everything, screenshots of messages, the Instagram post that started it all, security footage from the wedding venue, statements from witnesses including Devin and Alicia, and the letter itself. The judge granted a 1-year restraining order, requiring Ryan to stay at least 100 yards away from me, my home, and my workplace, and prohibiting any form of contact. As for the friend group situation, things eventually calmed down as more information came to light. Marcus, the friend who had commented on Vanessa's Instagram post, finally revealed what he knew. Apparently, he had seen Ryan and Vanessa together multiple times over the past few months, always in situations Ryan had lied to me about. Marcus had suspected something was going on but didn't feel it was his place to interfere. When he saw Vanessa's post about their dinner date, knowing Ryan was supposed to be with me that night, he commented out of genuine surprise that she would be so blatant about it. This revelation caused several friends to reevaluate their positions, and many apologized for doubting my account. Some still maintain relationships with Ryan and Vanessa, which I understand, they've known them longer than they've known me. But the character assassination campaign against me has largely died down. The most unexpected development came last week when I received a message from Vanessa. She asked if we could meet in person to talk. After consulting with Megan, who thought it might provide some closure, I agreed to meet in a public place. Vanessa looked terrible when she arrived, tired, thinner than I remembered, with dark circles under her eyes. She got straight to the point, she was no longer with Ryan. According to her, their rekindled relationship had quickly turned toxic. Ryan became extremely jealous and controlling, checking her phone constantly and accusing her of cheating every time she went out without him. She apologized for her role in the cheating and for believing Ryan's lies about what happened at the wedding. When I asked why she posted that Instagram photo knowing I would see it, she admitted it was deliberate. Ryan had told her our relationship was already over but that I was in denial and still pursuing him. The photo was her way of staking her claim and showing me they were back together. Vanessa also revealed something I hadn't known. Ryan had cheated on her multiple times during their 3-year relationship. The final breakup I knew about wasn't because she cheated on him, as he claimed, it was the opposite. She caught him with another woman and ended things, but he twisted the story when telling others, including me. This information left me reeling. The foundation of trust I thought we had, his supposed trauma from being cheated on and resulting commitment to faithfulness, was completely fabricated. He had used this lie not only to gain my trust but to isolate Vanessa from their mutual friends when they were together. Vanessa and I parted on civil terms. We're not friends and probably never will be, but there's a certain solidarity in having survived the same manipulative relationship. She's moving to another city for a job opportunity, partly to get a fresh start away from Ryan. As for me, I'm slowly rebuilding my life in my new apartment. I've reconnected with friends I neglected during my relationship with Ryan and started a photography class I've been interested in for years. My job has been a welcome distraction, and my boss has been understanding about the situation, especially regarding the security measures we had to implement to comply with the restraining order. Devin, the groomsman who helped me at the wedding, has checked in a few times to see how I'm doing. We get along well, and there might be potential for something more in the future, but for now, I'm focusing on myself. Trust doesn't come easily to me anymore. I still have moments where I question how I could have been so wrong about someone. Ryan presented himself as honest, loyal, and traumatized by past infidelity, when in reality he was a skilled manipulator with a pattern of deception. It's a harsh lesson in how appearances can be deceiving. For now, I'm taking each day as it comes, grateful for the true friends who stood by me and the family who provided support when I needed it most. The restraining order has given me peace of mind, and the distance from the drama has been healing. Update 3: It's been 3 months since my last update, and I'm happy to report that life has finally returned to something resembling normal. The restraining order has been effective. Ryan hasn't attempted to contact me directly since it was issued. According to mutual friends, he moved to a different part of the city and has been keeping a low profile. The friendships that survived this ordeal have grown stronger. Megan and I meet weekly for coffee, and she's introduced me to her wider circle of friends who have no connection to Ryan or the drama. It's refreshing to spend time with people who know me only as I am now, not as Ryan's ex or the girl from the wedding incident. My relationship with Marcus has also improved. After he came forward with what he knew about Ryan and Vanessa's history of meeting behind my back, we had several long conversations. He apologized repeatedly for not telling me sooner, explaining that Ryan had convinced everyone that any tension in our relationship was due to my trust issues and jealousy. Marcus assumed I knew about Ryan and Vanessa's lunches and movie nights but was pretending not to care. Learning that Ryan had directly lied to me about spending time alone with Vanessa was what finally compelled Marcus to speak up. Last month, I received a letter from Ryan's lawyer. It contained a formal written apology from Ryan and a request to lift the restraining order. The letter claimed he had been in therapy, recognized his inappropriate behavior, and wanted to make amends. I discussed it with my brother, who advised against any response. The restraining order stays in place. Vanessa messaged me once more before moving away. She forwarded messages from Ryan asking about my new address and attempting to get information about my current life. She wanted me to know she hadn't shared anything with him and had blocked him after these attempts. I appreciated the warning and her decision to cut contact with him completely. I've been seeing a counselor to process everything that happened. The most valuable insight I've gained is recognizing the pattern of manipulation Ryan used throughout our relationship. He created a false narrative about his past, positioned himself as a victim, and used it to lower my guard and gain my trust. When caught in his deception, he immediately tried to control the narrative by spreading lies about me to our social circle. When that failed, he escalated to intimidation tactics at the wedding and stalking behavior afterward. Understanding this pattern has been crucial in helping me move forward. I now recognize certain behaviors as red flags that I might have overlooked before. My counselor calls this recalibrating my normal meter, learning to trust my instincts again when something feels off in a relationship. Work has been a positive distraction. I received a promotion last month that came with more responsibilities but also more creative freedom. Throwing myself into projects has given me purpose during this transitional period. As for Devin, we started dating about a month ago. We're taking things very slowly. He knows everything that happened with Ryan and understands my caution around new relationships. What I appreciate most about Devin is his respect for boundaries and his patience. There's no pressure to define what we are or where this is going. We're simply enjoying each other's company and building trust gradually. My new apartment feels like home now. I've installed additional security measures, a camera doorbell and window sensors, which my brother insisted on paying for as a housewarming gift. These precautions might seem excessive to some, but they help me sleep better at night. Last week, I had dinner with my parents and finally told them the full story of what happened with Ryan. I had given them an abbreviated version before, sparing them the more concerning details of his behavior after the breakup. They were upset I hadn't confided in them sooner but understood my reasons for handling it independently. My father, typically stoic, became emotional when I described the wedding incident, blaming himself for not being there to protect me. I reassured him that Devin's intervention was exactly what I needed in that moment: calm, effective support without escalation. The rumors about Vanessa being pregnant turned out to be false. According to Megan, Vanessa herself started that rumor when she suspected Ryan was pursuing another woman in their friend group. It was her desperate attempt to keep him committed to her, which obviously backfired. Learning this reinforced how toxic their relationship was and how manipulation seemed to be the common language they both spoke. Looking ahead, I'm cautiously optimistic about the future. The restraining order gives me legal protection for another 9 months, by which point I hope Ryan will have moved on completely. My support network is stronger than ever, and I've learned valuable lessons about trust, boundaries, and the importance of honest communication in relationships. There are still days when memories of those 5 months with Ryan surface unexpectedly. A song on the radio, a restaurant we visited together, certain phrases he used to say. But these triggers are becoming less frequent and less powerful. They're just echoes now, not the overwhelming presence they once were. If there's anything positive to take from this experience, it's a deeper appreciation for authenticity in relationships. I value straightforward communication more than ever and have no patience for games or manipulation. My time is too valuable to waste on people who aren't genuine. For anyone going through something similar, I can only say, trust your instincts, document everything, and don't hesitate to use legal protections if necessary. A restraining order might seem extreme, but it provided the space I needed to rebuild my life without fear of further harassment. I won't be posting any more updates about this situation. It's time to close this chapter and focus on writing new ones. Thank you to everyone who offered support and advice throughout this difficult period. Your words helped more than you know. Now let's move to the next story. Story 2: My MILF faked cheating photos to break up my marriage. Years later, my ex-husband discovered the truth in a locked box and now wants to reconcile. My name is Emily, and I'm 29 years old. I recently divorced my husband, Jake, 31, over false accusations of cheating. I always suspected his mother, Karen, 55, was involved, but I had no proof until now. Jake and I grew up in Millbrook, a small town known for its struggling economy and high unemployment rates. We lived in the same neighborhood, properly nicknamed the Pits by locals. It wasn't the best area, lots of low-income families struggling to make ends meet. My parents moved us there when I was 12 after they both lost their jobs in the city. Dad was a factory worker, and Mom was a receptionist at a law firm. They tried to shield us from the reality of our situation, but even as a kid, I could sense their stress and worry. Jake had lived in the Pits his whole life with his grandparents, Bill and Martha. His mom, Karen, was hardly ever around due to her issues with substance abuse. I remember the first time I saw Karen. She stumbled into Bill and Martha's yard during a neighborhood barbecue, slurring her words and barely able to stand. Jake, who was 14 at the time, calmly led her inside, his face a mask of practiced indifference. It broke my heart to see how used to this he was. Despite the tough circumstances, Jake was incredibly smart and hardworking. He was a few years ahead of me in school and often helped me and my younger sister, Lily, with our homework. In return, I'd help him with chores around his grandparents' house. Bill had a bad back from years of construction work, and Martha suffered from arthritis, so Jake took on a lot of responsibility at a young age. I remember one particular day when Jake was teaching me algebra. We were sitting on his front porch, the summer heat making the pages of our textbooks stick together. Frustrated with a particularly difficult problem, I threw my pencil down and declared I was too stupid for math. Jake looked at me seriously and said, "Emily, you're not stupid. You just haven't figured it out yet. And that's okay because I'll help you until you do." That moment stuck with me. It was the first time someone outside my family had shown such faith in me. As we grew older, our friendship deepened. We'd spend hours talking about our dreams and fears. Jake wanted to start his own business someday, to prove to everyone in the pits that it was possible to make it out. I dreamed of becoming a teacher, inspired by the patience Jake had shown me. When Jake graduated high school, he got a scholarship to a good college in the city. His grandparents scraped together what they could to help with expenses, selling their old car and taking on extra shifts at their jobs. Karen, unsurprisingly, didn't contribute at all. She didn't even show up to his graduation. I remember holding Jake's hand as he watched other parents congratulating their kids, his jaw clenched tightly. Jake and I tried to maintain a long-distance relationship when he left for college. We'd talk on the phone every night at first, sharing stories about our days. But over time, the calls became less frequent. Jake was busy with his studies and part-time job, and I was focused on finishing high school and helping my parents, who were still struggling financially. Then, one day, I got a text from Jake. It was brief and to the point. He thought it was best if we broke up. He said the distance was too hard and he needed to focus on his future. I was devastated. I tried calling him, but he didn't pick up. For weeks, I cried myself to sleep, feeling like I'd lost not just my boyfriend, but my best friend. Years passed, and I didn't hear much from Jake. I focused on my studies, got into a decent college in our state, and started working towards my teaching degree. I dated a few guys, but nothing serious. A part of me always compared them to Jake, and they always fell short. Then, out of the blue, I saw Jake's name on the guest list for a talk at my college. He had become a successful entrepreneur, and I was assigned to moderate the session. When I saw him walk into the auditorium, my heart skipped a beat. He looked different, more polished, confident. But when he smiled at me, I saw the same Jake I'd known all those years ago. After the talk, we went for coffee to catch up. Jake told me about his journey, how he'd worked hard, started his own tech company, and even reconnected with his mom. Apparently, Karen had married a wealthy man named Robert who adopted Jake and invested in his company. I was happy for Jake, but a part of me felt a twinge of jealousy. He had achieved his dream of making it out of the pits, while I was still struggling to finish my degree and help my parents make ends meet. One thing led to another, and Jake offered me a job at his company. At first, I hesitated, thinking it might be awkward, but he insisted. Over the next few months, we grew close again. Jake proposed, saying he regretted breaking up with me years ago. I was overwhelmed with emotion and said yes. That's when the trouble started. Karen wasn't pleased about our engagement. She arranged a lunch for us to get to know each other, but it was a disaster. She was sweet in front of Jake but made nasty comments when we were alone, calling my family and me gold diggers. I told Jake about it, but he brushed it off, asking me to ignore her behavior. Our relationship became strained because of Karen's constant interference. She was always in Jake's ear, filling it with lies about me and my family. Despite the ups and downs, Jake and I eloped and got married. Karen put on a happy face at the reception, but I could tell she was seething inside. Things were okay for a while until my sister Lily asked for some seed money for her startup, a small bakery she wanted to open in our hometown. Jake generously offered to invest, no questions asked. I was touched by his gesture, remembering how much my family had struggled when we were younger. Unfortunately, Lily's business struggled. The economy in our hometown was still bad, and people didn't have extra money for fancy baked goods. Jake started to worry about his investment. He became distant and irritable at home. We fought over small things, and the tension kept building. The breaking point came when Jake forgot our first wedding anniversary. I was hurt and decided to stay with my parents for a while. We had already planned a small gathering for our families after our anniversary, so we decided to go ahead with it and act like the perfect hosts. The day before the party, I got a shocking call from Karen. She told me to pack my bags because she had found the perfect girl for her son. I hung up on her and went home to talk to Jake about his mother's behavior. But when I arrived, Jake was drunk and unresponsive. The next day, at the gathering, the tension between Jake and me was palpable. Even my distant cousins noticed something was off. I tried to talk to Jake, but he brushed me off. Later, he came back with an envelope, saying it contained proof of me cheating on him. I was stunned. Inside the envelope were divorce papers and some inappropriate pictures of me with another man. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I tried to explain to Jake that the pictures were fake, but he wouldn't listen. He told me to leave, saying he should have listened to his mother and never married into a family of gold diggers. Heartbroken and confused, I went back to my parents' house. Lily looked at the pictures and immediately pointed out that they were clearly doctored. We decided to confront Jake the next day, but before we could, he showed up at our door. I thought maybe he had realized something was off about the pictures. Instead, he demanded that I sign the divorce papers immediately. When I refused and tried to explain that the photos were fake, he threatened to file fraud charges against Lily for the failed business investment. I was devastated. The man I loved and thought I knew was threatening my family. With a heavy heart, I signed the papers. It was only after the divorce that I discovered I was 2 months pregnant. Now, 6 months later, I've given birth to a beautiful baby girl named Sophie. Jake has been supportive from afar, setting up a trust fund for her and agreeing to shared custody. But I can't help feeling that there's more to this story than meets the eye. I'm determined to uncover the truth, not just for my sake, but for Sophie's future. Update 1. It's been a whirlwind few weeks since my last post. I can't believe how much has happened, and I'm still trying to process it all. About a month ago, I received an email that changed everything. It was from Karen, Jake's mother, but it wasn't meant for me. She had accidentally included my email address in a message intended for a woman named Melissa, who she was trying to set Jake up with. The email detailed Karen's plan to get all of Jake's money, with instructions on how Melissa should manipulate him. I was shocked. This was the proof I needed to show that Karen had been behind everything from the start. My hands shook as I read through the email multiple times, each read filling me with a mix of vindication and anger. I immediately tried to contact Jake, but he didn't answer my calls. So, I forwarded the email to him, hoping he would finally see the truth. Days passed, and I heard nothing. I assumed Jake had read the email and was dealing with the fallout on his own. I focused on taking care of Sophie and tried not to dwell on it. But it was hard. Every time I looked at our daughter, I saw Jake and her features, and my heart ached for what could have been. Then, on a rainy Tuesday evening, Jake showed up at my door. He looked terrible, his clothes were rumpled, his hair a mess, and he had dark circles under his eyes. For a moment, I was reminded of how his mother used to look when she showed up at his grandparents' house. I invited him in, more out of habit than anything else, and that's when he dropped a bombshell. Jake confessed that he had never received my email, it had gone to his spam folder. He was here because he had discovered the truth on his own. While helping his mother move some things at her house, he had stumbled upon a locked box. Curiosity got the better of him, and he picked the lock, a skill he learned in our misspent youth in the pits. Inside, he found the original photos of me, the ones that had been doctored to make it look like I was cheating. He broke down as he told me how he had taken the photos to a professional, who confirmed they were manipulated. Jake realized then that his mother had orchestrated the whole thing to break us up. As he spoke, I could see the weight of his guilt crushing him. He looked older, more worn than I'd ever seen him. I didn't know how to feel. On one hand, I was relieved that Jake finally knew the truth. On the other, I was angry that it had taken him this long to believe me. I told him about the email I had forwarded, and he checked his spam folder right there in front of me. The color drained from his face as he read it. We spent hours talking that night. Jake apologized profusely for not believing me, for letting his mother come between us, for threatening my sister. He told me he had broken off his engagement to Melissa, he had never really wanted to marry her anyway. It had all been his mother's idea. As Jake spoke, memories flooded back. I remember the day he'd taught me algebra on his porch, the nights we'd spent dreaming of a better future, the moment he'd proposed. But I also remember the pain of our breakup, the humiliation of being accused of cheating, the fear when he threatened my family. I listened to everything Jake had to say, but I made it clear that his apology didn't magically fix everything. The trust between us was broken, and it would take more than words to repair it. Jake nodded, understanding in his eyes. He told me he was willing to do whatever it took to make things right. Before he left, Jake asked if there was any chance for us to reconcile. I told him I needed time to think. The wounds were still fresh, and I had Sophie to consider now. Jake respected my decision and left, but not before asking if he could see Sophie. I agreed, and watching him hold our daughter for the first time in months brought tears to my eyes. After Jake left, I called Lily to fill her in on everything that had happened. She was furious on my behalf but also relieved that the truth had finally come out. We spent a long time discussing what I should do next. Lily, always the protective sister, warned me against rushing back into a relationship with Jake. But she also reminded me of how happy we had been before Karen's interference. I'm still not sure what the future holds for Jake and me. Part of me wants to give him another chance, we have a long history together, and he is Sophie's father. But another part of me is scared of being hurt again. Can I ever truly trust him after what happened? For now, I'm focusing on being the best mother I can be to Sophie. Jake and I have agreed to be civil for her sake, and we're working on a co-parenting schedule that works for both of us. It's strange, navigating this new dynamic with Jake. Sometimes, when he comes to pick up Sophie, I catch glimpses of the boy I fell in love with all those years ago. But then I remember everything that's happened, and I feel the walls I've built around my heart strengthening. As for Karen, Jake told me he's cut off all contact with her. He's in the process of undoing the financial entanglements she had manipulated him into. It's a messy situation, and I'm glad I'm not directly involved in it. But I can't help wondering about Karen's motivations. Was it really just about money? Or was there something deeper, some twisted need for control over her son's life? I'm taking things one day at a time. My priority is creating a stable, loving environment for Sophie. Whatever happens between Jake and me, I want her to know that both her parents love her unconditionally. I'll update again when I have more news. For now, I'm trying to focus on the positive changes in my life. I've started a new job at a local school, fulfilling my old dream of becoming a teacher. It's challenging, especially with a baby, but it's also incredibly rewarding. And every day, when I look into Sophie's eyes, I'm reminded of the strength I've found through all of this. Thank you all for your support and advice. It means more than you know. Update 2. It's been a few months since my last update, and a lot has changed. I'm still trying to wrap my head around everything that's happened. Jake and I have been slowly rebuilding our relationship, not as a couple, but as co-parents. We've been attending counseling sessions together to work through our issues and learn how to communicate better for the sake of Sophie. It's been challenging, but I can see the progress we're making. In our sessions, we've delved into our past, both the good and the bad. We've talked about our childhood in the pits, how it shaped us and our expectations of relationships. Jake opened up about his feelings of abandonment from his mother and how that affected his ability to trust. I shared my insecurities about not being good enough for Jake after he became successful. It's been painful at times, but also cathartic. The biggest development, however, involves Karen. Jake decided to press charges against her for fraud and harassment. He had gathered enough evidence, including the doctored photos and the email she sent about her plans to steal his money. It wasn't an easy decision for Jake. Despite everything, Karen was still his mother. I remember the night he made the decision. We were sitting on my porch after he had dropped Sophie off, reminiscent of our teenage years. Jake looked at me, his eyes filled with a mix of determination and sadness, and said, "I have to do this. Not just for us, but for Sophie. I don't want her growing up thinking this kind of behavior is okay." When Karen was confronted with the charges, she didn't react the way we expected. Instead of denying everything or trying to manipulate the situation, she broke down completely. It turns out that she's been struggling with severe mental health issues for years, exacerbated by her substance abuse problems. Jake's stepfather, Robert, who had been in the dark about most of Karen's schemes, was devastated. He's filed for divorce but has agreed to help pay for Karen's treatment at a specialized facility. It's a complicated situation, and I have mixed feelings about it all. On one hand, I'm angry at Karen for everything she put me through, the false accusations, the manipulation, the pain she caused our family. But on the other hand, I can't help but feel a twinge of pity for her. Mental illness is a serious issue, and it's clear that she needs help. I remember Karen from my childhood, a woman who was more often absent than present in her son's life. I wonder now if her issues stem from that time, or even earlier. Jake is struggling with his own conflicting emotions. He's angry and hurt by his mother's actions, but he also feels guilty for not recognizing her issues sooner. He's been seeing a therapist to work through his feelings, which I think is a positive step. Sometimes, after his sessions, he'll call me and we'll talk for hours. It reminds me of our late-night conversations when we were younger, dreaming of a better future. As for me, I'm focusing on moving forward. I've started a new job that I love, teaching at a local elementary school. It's challenging, especially balancing work with caring for Sophie, but it's incredibly rewarding. I see a bit of myself in some of my students, especially those from struggling families. I try to be for them what Jake was for me all those years ago, a source of encouragement and support. I'm also enjoying watching Sophie grow and develop her own personality. She's the light of my life, and seeing Jake interact with her always brings a smile to my face, despite our complicated history. Sophie has Jake's eyes and my smile, and sometimes when I look at her, I'm struck by how much she represents the best of both of us. Jake and I have had some long, honest conversations about our past and our future. We both acknowledge that we still have feelings for each other, but we're not rushing into anything. We're taking it slow, focusing on being good parents and healing from the trauma we've been through. Last week, Jake suggested we take Sophie to the park together. As we watched her toddle around the playground, Jake turned to me and said, "I'm sorry for everything, Emily. I should have trusted you. I should have been stronger." I didn't say anything, just squeezed his hand. It wasn't forgiveness, not yet, but it was a start. I don't know what the future holds for us, but I'm cautiously optimistic. If nothing else, this whole ordeal has taught me the importance of trust, communication, and standing up for myself. I'm not the same person I was when this all started, and in many ways, I'm stronger for it. Lily's bakery is slowly starting to pick up. Jake has been helping her with the business side of things, partly out of guilt for threatening her before, and partly because I think he genuinely wants to help. It's nice to see them getting along, a small piece of normalcy in our complicated situation. As for Karen, she's still in treatment. Jake visits her occasionally, always coming back looking drained but a little more at peace each time. I haven't seen her myself, I'm not ready for that yet. But Jake keeps me updated, and I appreciate his honesty about the situation. I'll update again if there are any major developments. For now, I'm taking things one day at a time, focusing on being the best mother and teacher I can be. Thank you all for your continued support and advice. It's been a long, difficult journey, but I finally feel like I'm on the right path. Update 3, it's been almost a year since this whole ordeal began, and I wanted to give you all a final update on the situation. Karen has been in treatment for the past 6 months. According to Jake, who's been in limited contact with her doctors, she's making progress but still has a long way to go. Jake's stepfather, Robert, went through with the divorce, but he's been supportive of Karen's treatment, which I think speaks volumes about his character. Jake has been visiting Karen more regularly. He often comes to my place afterward, emotionally drained but determined to maintain the relationship. Last month, he brought Sophie to see Karen for the first time since all this happened. It was a supervised visit, and Jake said it went as well as could be expected. Karen cried when she saw Sophie, apologizing over and over. Jake said it was hard to watch, but he felt it was necessary for both Karen and Sophie. As for Jake and me, we've continued to work on our relationship as co-parents. The counseling sessions have been incredibly helpful, and we've learned a lot about healthy communication and setting boundaries. We're in a much better place now than we were a year ago. However, we've decided not to pursue a romantic relationship, at least for now. While we both still care for each other deeply, we've realized that too much has happened for us to simply go back to what we had before. We're focusing on being the best parents we can be to Sophie, who's growing up so fast and bringing us joy every day. Jake has thrown himself into his work, but in a healthier way than before. He's implemented better work-life balance practices in his company and has been spending more quality time with Sophie. It's been wonderful to see him grow as a father. He often comes over for dinner, and we spend time together as a family. It's not the life I imagined, but it's becoming a new normal that I'm growing to appreciate. As for me, I've been promoted to lead teacher at my school. I'm loving the new challenges it brings, especially working with at-risk students. I've even started a mentoring program, inspired by my own experiences growing up in the pits. It's been incredibly rewarding to see these kids start to believe in themselves and their futures. I've also started dating again, taking it slow and being very cautious about who I introduce to Sophie's life. It's been refreshing to meet new people and remember that there's a whole world out there beyond the drama I've been through. Jake has been supportive, which I appreciate. We've agreed to be open with each other about our dating lives, especially when it might affect Sophie. Lily's Bakery is finally turning a profit. Jake's business advice and a small loan from his company really turned things around. She's even talking about opening a second location. It's been amazing to see her dream come to life, and I'm incredibly proud of her perseverance. Sophie is thriving. She's a happy, curious toddler who loves both her parents. Jake and I make sure to never speak negatively about each other or about Karen in front of her. We want her to form her own opinions as she grows older. She started preschool recently, and it's been a joy to watch her make friends and learn new things. Looking back, I can hardly believe everything that's happened. It's been a painful, difficult journey, but I've learned so much about myself, about resilience, and about the importance of trusting my instincts. I'm proud of how far I've come, and I'm excited about what the future holds. There are still tough days. Days when I look at Jake and Sophie together and feel a pang of what might have been. Days when I worry about Karen's influence on Sophie's life as she grows older. But overall, I feel stronger and more capable than ever before. Thank you all for your support throughout this crazy time. Your advice and kind words have meant the world to me. While this chapter of my life is closing, I'm looking forward to writing new ones. Here's to new beginnings and brighter days ahead.